Hello there, welcome back to the Vintage SMP. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I forgot to record an intro for this video. I have been kind of under the weather for the past 2 weeks. I've recorded most of this 2 weeks ago. I just haven't had the energy to edit it. And yeah, so we're just going to jump straight in. Here I am. We are in a cave. I was just doing a little bit of cave exploring and I found a bunch of ruins. So let's see what we find. Or found. A lot of firewood. Some tables. Can I take table? No, age table. Sorry, broken. Cook pot. There should be some nice loot in here somewhere. Yeah, in here there are vessels. Yes. Definitely going on this one. Chalk is useful. Birch seeds, not as much. This one, bone, peat, and rot. Again, useful. Not super useful, but I definitely taking them. Okay, that's that for there. But there's a ton of aged firewood, and that's useful. Some aged logs, a ruined bed. I can't take that. Skeletons. Can't take those. My inventory is full with the debris I just picked up. Put that down. Toss all of this stuff back in there. As you can see, I was about to go and do a little actual exploring, mining, and whatnot, but yeah, we kind of got sidetracked. Okay, pick that up, put it on our back. Sorry you couldn't see that, but yeah. Okay, there's nothing in there to collect. This has a tailored blouse, rot, and fire clay. I do need more fire clay. I can take this chest. Yes, I can. Okay, nice. So that's this ruin. I didn't see another torch holder, did I? No. Alright, and then if we go further down... Oh. Oh. I did not notice this. There's a hay bed down here. I gotta be careful. I don't want my torch getting put out on me. I didn't bring extra with me. Seeds? I'll take them. This looks cool. But that was not what I was going to say. We have another ruin right here with a cracked vessel, which had andesite and honeycomb. Another fire pit. Bit of bony soil. Don't want that. There's quite a bit of bony soil. Yeah, that looks like it's it. Nothing else to find here. But if we go down a little further in the cave, I had thrown my spear at a bowthorn and I missed utterly. And is that tin right next to copper? I only saw this copper. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, I was gonna come down here and do this. Prospector's pick. Dent. How did I miss? He's stationary. I meant to do this. So that's one. Okay, still need... There we go. And right here. And we have decent cephalerite, very poor cinnabar, very poor cassiterite. I beg to differ. Poor halite, but there's quite a bit of it. Poor copper, very poor limonite, and then minuscules of everything else. So it says it's a bad location, but I'm finding tin. So you know what? I'll trust my eyes. Was just coming back and made myself a bronze saw, so I don't have to keep running back to the cabin every time I want to make some boards, or actually making some bow staves, so I can have a good
nice
bow in the future.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, and I definitely have to have a saw. That's super handy.
Well, of course, there is one in the cabin. Help yourself to it. I left some bronze back there, so you can make yourself up one if you want.
Oh, nice. I've got a copper one at home, but I have all the stuff to make bronze at my place.
Okay.
But if I run low, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
That is awesome.
Find anything good down there? I know there's
not
borax.
Really. Yeah.
There's some surface borax right here, so there's got to be borax close by.
Oh, okay. It's close by. Yeah, there's 2 shafts that go like almost straight down. I didn't go down those. I went down a smaller one, but it just dead ended. About 20 blocks down.
Okay.
I was getting my ass kicked by drifters, so I was like, I think I'll leave right now.
Yeah, I need to go get a lot of copper and make up a whole ton of lanterns so I can actually work at night around my base, because there are just so many rifts.
Dude, it's crazy. Yeah. Even with the medium activity, like I was trying to do outside stuff, and there was like four boat horns. Yeah, I was just like, screw this, I'm going inside.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, some lanterns would definitely help.
Oh, absolutely. All right, I'll catch you later then, I guess.
All right. Good travels.
You too. I perhaps did not realize how big Bag End was when I started this. This is nowhere close to big enough. I found a really good graphic done by a graphic design artist. I'll include a picture of it on screen. And he's done his research. I'm going to trust his plan, and I'm going to try to replicate it. To do that, though, this isn't going to work. First off, Bag End is on a little bit of a hillside. I am not digging into that. I'm going to create my own hillside, but that means I will have to pile up the dirt a bit and sort of sculpt out the sculpt my own hill to build on. But I did go and get a whole bunch of oak, so we could at least, well, put down the floor that's going to be torn up in a minute. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of a bigger task than I thought, but you know what? That's fine. The whole point is to make it look awesome. And if I have to tear this down and start building over again, because, I got so very far, it's worth it. Okay, I realize this is going to look a little esoteric, but stick with me for a moment and you should be able to understand this. This is the foyer, the entrance into Bag's End. There's going to be a little door over here. I haven't decided what's going to go back there yet. Nothing was ever shown in the movies, so we don't know. This is going to be the study with the big old hearth where, I want to say Bilbo. Yeah, Bilbo Baggins kept the ring, right? In his desk. In here is going to be another little hearth and a small, almost like picnic table. Think of it like almost, I mean, it's a place to eat. There are many of those in a hobbit's house. Almost looks like a little dining room, right? We have a big hearth here, and this is where the long table is going to be, where all the dwarves in the Hobbit sat and sang and demanded mead and that sort of thing. And over here is going to be a little sitting room with a hearth right there. And then over here is going to be another hearth, a nice little comfy chair, and Frodo's bed. This area here is the hallway to connect all the different rooms. And then this gap right here is going to lead, well, not lead. This is the pantry. Yeah, this area is going to be the pantry. And then, again, there's a door here that leads to nothing as far as we know. A door here that leads to nothing. And a door here that leads to nothing. So I'll figure out something to do with all of those. But this is the rough design to Bag's End that was come up that Adam Middleton came up with from his research. And that's the image that I showed earlier. I'll show again now. And this is the design I am working off. So, the next thing to do is to start laying out a floor. I was going to use oak. The wood in the image is substantially redder. More of a mahogany. I don't think I have mahogany. We do have the wood stain mod, right? Staining brush, we've got wet, we've got pink. I'm going to go into a creative world again to test out the red wood, the red stain with different colored woods. You know, maple, walnut, whatnot. See which looks the most like mahogany. And then that will probably be how we do the floor and the trim. Now, for the actual walls, I could probably get away with wattle and daub. But I'm going to need to use sandstone wattle. There is sandstone in the area. In fact, I think there's a sandstone biome like right over there. So getting enough sandstone would be an issue. Except we must not have activated it, but we're supposed to have the quarry mod on the server. And while I've been hesitant to use the quarry mod in my single player world, I was watching a video by, was it ArtNat? And I actually, I think I can use the quarry mod. My main hesitation with it was it looked way too OP from the description, but from watching how it works, not so much. So, and there's a way in the quarry mod to turn rocks into gravel into sand, which will make wattle and daub much easier. Anyway, so this is the basic outline shape of Bag's End. I need to build up a dirt hill around this. I probably don't have enough dirt. I'm going to need to go dig out a lot more. My river came to here. That's not going to have to work. I mean, it's not going to work. I'm going to have to extend it further this way and then wrap it around over here, giving Bag's End plenty of room. That's not the word I was looking for. It's the word I ended up with. But yeah, so you can hopefully maybe see where we're going with this. It is going to be, it's going to be very fun. It's going to be a very difficult build for me, right? But I think it will be fun in the end. And hopefully it will look halfway decent. Who knows? If it turns out... I fell in my river again. Who knows? If it turns out really well, maybe I'll do a video specifically on how I built it, so that you guys could try to replicate it if you... Way to go, Ark. If you want to do it yourself. I just had an idea. So I mentioned this area is never actually shown in the movies, so we don't know quite what's over here. I need to build myself a greenhouse. Guess what would fit perfectly in this area right here. A greenhouse. Here I am, mindlessly going about collecting resources using the Quarry Mod, and I've never shown you the Quarry Mod. Now, some of you are well aware of it. I've never used it before. So, well, okay. I've never used it on camera before. I've just obviously used it now. I have 4 tin bronze splitting plugs. 1 ingot makes 1 plug. For tin bronze, you can use up to 8 plugs. I only made 4 plugs because it is expensive. And so what we need to do is, if you saw the tooltip there, you can put them in a 4x4x4 or 1x4x16, so on and so forth. There are different orientations you can use to set it up. The main point is 4x4x4 is 64. That is the most volume that you can have of stone set up by 1 plug, or, well, 1 set of plugs. So what I did was I carved out this spot here. I've got 3 chunks, 11, 10, and 20. Let's see if I can do this again. Put that there and that there, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's put them here. It'd be 8 by 2. Will that work? Yes. All right. If I control click, you see that it is this chunk here that I'm going to be removing. So we got to use our hammer to push the plugs in all the way. And once it's complete, boom, it pops out. And now that one has some shale in it. So you see it's got 23 units of sandstone and 3 units of shale. When I don't necessarily have to mine it. When I use a hammer, and there are 4 different hammers you can use. So let's see where the quarry guide is. Finishing chisel, which we haven't made, will make polished stone. A wedge chisel will give you bricks. A rough cut chisel will give you rocks. And a rubble hammer, that's the one I have, will give you stone. We could then make a rubble storage, which is a box made by 1 copper plate and 5 boards. You can load stone into that, and then using the rubble hammer, turn it into gravel and then into sand. There is a slight loss. 2 or 3 rocks turn into, and by rocks, I do mean these stone here. 2 or 3 of those will turn into like 1 gravel, and then 2 gravel will turn into 1 sand. So it's not a 1-to-1, but yeah. Now we have a way to make sand for our, I'm getting distracted by the ruin. Now we have a way to make sand, which will make making the daub much easier, since you don't have to worry about, sourcing enough sand. There's a bit of sand over here, but I would end up using up all the sand and still not having enough daub. So now we've got a solution for that. Anyway, so that's the Quarry Mod. I may be adding it to my single player world. I was hesitant to add it because I thought, based on the description and how it looked on the mod page, it was a lot more OP than it actually is. So yeah, I can definitely get behind using this more often. Okay, I've made the rubble storage. So now with our rubble hammer, yep, you just hold click on it and it's converting the stone into gravel and into sand. And then to withdraw, we just need to look at whichever one we want and click. We can also place it back in. Nope. Thought we could place it back in. Maybe we can only place in the stone and gravel. But then if we run over here to our stone that we brought back. Okay, so let's look at this one. Control plus right click to select the rock. So you see up there we've got a little plus sign next to the sandstone. If we do it again, now it's a plus sign next to the shale. Not necessarily with these, because there's only one. Polished rock, stones is... Right, okay, so we do want... Ah, there we go. I was pressing the wrong button. See, as I use it, all breaks down. So we got all the chunks. Now, this is not exactly a great use of mining the stone and bring it over, because I mean I could get these just from mining, but it's showing you how that works. Then we come back over here, shift click it in, we just add the stone, and then hammer again, turns into sand and gravel. Control click to take out a whole stack at a time. We don't quite have a stack, but there we go. Now we've got 53 sand that we can turn into sandstone daub, or at least yellow daub, which is what I want to use for the interior of the house. I need to go get a lot more dirt and a lot more grass. So, like I usually do, before really diving into getting all the resources and figuring out what I want to do for the build, jumped into my creative world here, which has seen better days due to the 1.20 update. And yeah, I put down a bit of a palette wall just to sort of figure out what we want to go with. I think I like the Copic stained black. That's regular Copic wood. This is it stained black. It does kind of have a bit of a mahogany sort of shade to it. I think it might work well for what I want. Now, for the actual walls of the hobbit hole. So we have these two, which looks kind of cool. The yellow plaster wash, but you can't get that in-game, so at least not yet. If I do plaster, it doesn't show up at all. It's only in the creative mode where you get these plaster washes, and yeah. So I don't think I can actually get those in-game, so we're going to forget that. On this end, we have the actual plaster. I have no intention of building another structure completely out of plaster, so we're going to just sort of skip that. So that leaves us with the yellow stained wattle and daub, which is quite workable. The light brown, the tan, the gold, golden brown. Any of those could work. I particularly like the yellow, but the light brown could also work well inside. But then I decided, okay, we used ram dirt just as a placeholder, to use the palette from Chisel Tools. And I did the pastel here, and I think it was this brown here. I'm not a huge fan of that brown, but this tan pastel looks quite nice. Let's look at it from the other side. See it in a bit more light. It's kind of got a slight pink to it. So what I'm essentially saying is I want to decide between these three. The wattle and daub is, of course, a pain to resource. We can get the yellow pretty easily from the sandstone, thanks to the quarry mod. So that'll make it a bit easier. A light brown, I don't remember what uses what. I don't remember how you make light brown. Oh, limestone or chalk, and that just makes that makes light brown. Okay, so limestone and chalk aren't that bad. I do know there's a chalk biome to the southeast of spawn, so we can possibly do that. The rammed dirt and then using the pallet would probably be the easiest, since, well, the pallet is not all that expensive, although it does take a full stack of fruit to make the dye for, and we don't have, well, it's winter right now. I'm drawn between these two. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start building the actual entranceway to Bag End, and I'll do one side in the wattle and one side in the ram dirt for now, and then add the pallet once I have the resources to make the pallet. And we'll compare the two, and at that point we'll decide which we're going to go with. But that will have to wait till spring on the server, or if I travel far enough away, maybe I'll find enough berries that I could harvest. Very unlikely, but there's a chance. But yeah, I think that's what we're going with. And then, of course, this is a hobbit hole, right? So this will be chiseled down. I haven't quite decided how much. But maybe something like this. Maybe make it a bit more rounder. Then I would probably... Okay, so from the graphic I'm working with, there is that there. The wood... There we go. The wood does come up about halfway. So it would look more like that, only chiseled across the entire face. It's almost like this, but then, of course, make this a nicer curve, nicer angle. Almost make it look like the arches I have in my single-player world, but for the walls. And then there would be support or strut beams coming up through here somewhere. But that's the rough idea. Very rough, but you get... But I think you see the image. Or see the vision. But I think we'll call it an end here for today. Gonna go hop back on the server. It's actually been about a week and a half since I was last on a server, as I mentioned in the intro that I kind of threw in. I haven't been feeling well. Feeling better now. Don't worry about it. But yeah, haven't really done much for the past 2 weeks. So it's already spring now on the server. Actually, it might be summer at this point, so I can hop in, get some work done, not freeze to death, and next time you see me, we'll hopefully have a bit more progress done. Until then, thank you for joining me today. I hope you've had a wonderful day. Thank you to my channel members for your support, and I'll see you next time. Later. I can't wave.